Welcome to Mamamia Out Loud. It's what women are actually talking about on Monday, the 28th of July. My name is Holly Wainwright.
My name's Mia Friedman.
And I'm Jessie Stevens.
And here's what's on our agenda for today. The argument Australia had this weekend. Yes, we've got some very big feelings about Triple J's Hottest 100 of all time.
Plus, Gwyneth Paltrow has been paid millions of dollars to insert herself into the Coldplay couple cheating scandal. Meanwhile, Harry Styles wants you to insert the new sex toy he's just launched. But I have some questions about where exactly you're meant to insert it.
And the app that has given way to a very thorny, very uncomfortable debate about dating, privacy, and what on earth is going on between men and women right now.
My place, like homes all over the nation, was a house divided on Saturday night. It was a house divided as we listened as a family and then as a couple to the nation's poll results roll in. I'm talking, of course, about Triple J's Hottest 100 Australian songs of all time.
I completely missed this.
What a great idea, Triple J.
They're so
Applause.
good because the nation's youth station, and it's been the nation's youth station for several generations now, which was very much reflected in the list.
I don't know if any youth still listen.
Oh, well, they do because
They
I'm
do.
about
They were
to tell
voting.
you about the demographic.
Oh, I thought it was all people our age.
No,
who
there's
remember.
double J for that.
Oh, okay.
So they've got double J for old people. They're trying to quarantine the old people. But anyway, as we all know, every year Triple J does the Hottest 100. It's a massive pillar, we would say, in the content business for them. And this year they decided to get a mid-year bite of that because that's always January. And they decided to do the Hottest 100 Australian songs of all time. They've done this before, or a version of this, like years ago in the 90s. I remember it, but
It's so clever.
it's so clever. What's interesting is, so they say more than 2.5 million people voted in this poll.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a lot of people. The biggest demographic of voters was between 18 and 29,
Yep.
which is why some of the results are quite interesting.
Holly, I want the top 10 and I want you to go from 10 and I
Yes.
want you to count down are we thinking running commentary as Holly?
Oh, yeah.
Just some thoughts
Yeah.
and feelings. Okay, go.
In our house, by the way, we did this where we listened to the actual top 5, 10, like after the fact, and I made Brent guess each one. It was very fun.
I did
fun
the same.
games.
Yep.
Number 10, Somebody That I Used to Know by Gautier and Kimbra.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yes. Expected. Love that.
Do you want me to
given-
sing each of the songs?
Please
No,
don't.
I think people have it.
Been given a second life by Doechii, obviously. Who knows whether or not it would have been as high without her
Holly, I didn't
intervention.
know that. Okay.
true.
Give us 9.
My Anxiety, she sampled it.
How to Make Gravy by Paul Kelly.
Oh, I had to make the top 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Number 8, and this is the point I started shouting at Brent about old men. K-San by Cold Chisel.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I don't really like that song, but I understand its cultural significance.
Quickly followed, and this was very cute if you were listening because they got Jimmy Barnes on the phone and he was all excited about K-San, but he didn't know that at number 7, Flame Trees, also by Cold Chisel. Okay.
Sing that. How does that go?
Oh, I love that song.
How does it go?
The flame trees that blind the weary driver.
Oh,
I love that
Quite a
song.
nice song.
Sarah
just-
Blasco did a
Nothing
brilliant
like
version of it.
I feel like that indicates to me that Brent made a few profiles and did a bit of voting, but that's okay. What's number 6?
Double Cold Chisel. Oh, still with the old blokes. Although no offense, guys. My Happiness by Powderfinger.
Yep.
Number 5.
That's a good song.
The big number 5. Don't Dream It's Over by Crowded House.
I love Crowded House.
Oh, yeah, that's
love
iconic.
Crowded House. It's beautiful, iconic.
Hey now.
Is there discussion, Holly Wainwright, about how much Australia can truly claim Crowded House?
Yes. See, this when Crowded House popped into the countdown a little earlier on with something else, Better Be Home Soon, which is one of my faves.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. They're Kiwis.
I thought they were a little bit Kiwi too.
And again, my house divided. Brent is a Kiwi. And he was like, no, I think they're Australian now. And I'm like, well, if it was Kiwi songs, we could have all kinds of other things in here. But
We could have Russell Crowe's 30-odd foot of grunt.
we could.
At which point
We could have Lord.
we had this discussion and Lucas said, hang on, Kings of Leon haven't appeared yet. And I went, what's wrong with you? They're just simply not Australian.
There's a big, what has been one of the many things that's been illuminated by this countdown is in our discussion this morning. One of our wonderful content creators, Tessa, was like, I didn't know AC/DC were Australian. And she then went on to list all these other bands she didn't know were Australian. I'm like, what are they teaching you in schools?
Yeah, see, this is an important education moment.
Yeah, but
So-
a lot of most of these bands broke up or the lead singers died before Gen Z was
But
born.
often Gen Z knows the song.
Yeah,
they
that's
just
why
didn't
they're
know it was
voting
Australian.
for them.
Okay, so wait, number 5 was
Don't Dream It's Overcrowded House.
Okay,
Number 4.
Oh.
Friend of the pod,
Yep.
Missy Higgins with Scar.
Great.
Yeah.
Loved this.
Yeah.
I was waiting for Scar to come. We had Special 2, I think around the 50s.
Yeah.
Robbed.
Oh, Scar.
But I definitely needed Scar in the top 5.
Yes, and Brent was still happy. This next one is the point at which Brent lost his mind, and I need Jessie Stevens to explain it to me because many young women around the nation roared with approval. At number 3 of the greatest Australian songs of all time, Untouched by the Veronicas.
Sorry?
I saw that and went, oh, I thought that could have been number 1.
What? Why?
And Luca looked at me.
Can
and,
you sing that for me?
Well, it starts with a do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
Do-do-do-do-do. It's the violin.
Yeah.
And that's the bit where it gets really good. And then it's like, untouched. It goes like that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. We all need to understand. I feel as though half the country missed a viral moment and the other half of the country leaned into the viral moment. This song came out about 2007, 2008.
Yes, and the Veronicas have a lot of bangers.
Forever.
Yeah.
Like they're honestly icons. But what happened with this song is that it
I
came.
don't know if they're icons compared to like Missy Higgins and Crowded House
Oh,
and In
they've
Excess.
got a lot of very
And
good
AC/DC.
songs.
Of this
Are you
slander.
kidding?
Some very good
They're
songs.
number 3. The reason that they're number 3 is because this song came out at a time when like MySpace was exploding, right? So everyone had like a MySpace song. It was really, really big. It actually got on the Billboard charts in the US and the UK. It had international acclaim. But then it had this resurgence. I thought everyone knew about this resurgence. Clearly not. In like 2018, 2019, it was reclaimed as this like queer pop anthem because one of the Veronicas is queer. And
Yes.
so she's sort of become this like a Kylie, but if Kylie was queer. And so it had this resurgence in sort of the internet age and the TikTok age where like I went back to go, I do remember this correctly, don't I? And it was like a BuzzFeed articles with just like 50 tweets about Untouched being the best song ever written. So for
Really?
millennials and elder Gen Zs, this is the number 1 Australian song of
Yeah,
all time. easily.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Because they put it at number 3.
Yeah.
Brent McKean regained his status by predicting number 2, the Nosebleed Section by the Hilltop Hoods.
Also a great song.
Great song. I
Great
would put it at number 2.
song.
I always forget that the Hilltop Hoods are Australian, although I shouldn't because they sing in very Australian accents.
do.
But I don't think
Right.
I'd put it at number 2.
Oh, great song. But number 1, didn't pick it. Don't know if either of you two picked it. But the minute that the intro starts, you're like, of course.
Dun, 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 dun.
I was surprised.
Never
Dun,
Tear Us
dun, dun,
Apart
dun.
by
I was
In
surprised.
Excess.
Just because of the age of people voting, I kind of probably didn't expect it to be that.
Yeah, I definitely In Excess song should have been in there. I don't know if it should have been number 1, and we're going to give our top 5s at the end of the show. But I always just think of that song as Michael Hutchins' funeral song. And maybe that's why they played it at his funeral. That's what they walked out of the church to with the behind the coffin.
I always think of his funeral song as being Nick Cave's Into Your Arms, which also
made
was
the
in
list.
the top 20. But it's so interesting because what I realized about, especially when you hear about the age of voters, is that what your greatest of all time is, because there was quite a lot of diversity in this list in that there was some new stuff, but there was a lot of old stuff. But it's hard to say that a song that was out last year is the greatest song of all time. Like you might, if you love it hard.
Yeah.
So usually your song of all time is connected to a moment to you. And what was evident to me in the fact that a lot of young people voted for a lot of these old songs is their songs that their parents were playing in the house.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So Brent thinks of like K-San and whatever, I mean, my God, as being his songs because he was a young guy singing them in pubs. But for the people who voted for them in this rundown, it's probably the song that their dad was playing. You know what I mean? And I
That's
think
so
that's
true.
where the emotional connection comes in. But Never Tear Us Apart is very emotional.
And I think a lot of these have had another play either on TikTok or in films or television.
Yes.
And that kind of gives it another life. I expected Rufus de Sol to be further up because of the people voting. But then I thought that
I don't know what that means.
Rufus.
I know what Rufus is.
Rufus have won multiple Grammys.
Sing
They've
it.
been on, okay, I'm trying to think. Well, The Inner Bloom was on there.
Yes, that was
Sing
quite
it.
high.
Yeah.
How does it go?
Well, you can't, it's kind of like,
Yeah,
what do you call it?
sing it.
Electro? It's like,
Oh.
yeah, you just know. Rufus is, for Gen Zs, they make the Triple J Top 100 every year. Like
Okay.
they're massive.
It was also distressing that there weren't more women. But again, I think that we've only begun to see the correction of female representation in this kind of music in the last few years.
Yeah.
And so the hottest 100 of the year is getting slightly better on women. But in terms of the greatest of all time, that's going to take a while to shine through.
Although, Tina Arena didn't make an appearance.
Oh.
Criminal.
Chains.
Didn't make. I think that could have been top 10.
As we're talking, I think I'm going to have to revise my top 5.
Yeah, I know.
So, yes, as Mia says, if you care, please listen to the end of the show where we will reveal our top 5.
Mia, do you know the song that goes, "You were right, na, 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 na.
Getting Jessie Stevens
You
to
were
sing
right." Oh my God.
is the best.
No.
Oh my God, something's wrong with her.
What is that song?
That song
Maybe
is
it's just
by Rufus. It's the biggest song in the entire world.
You were right.
Yes.
Oh, dear.
It's a big week for Gwyneth Paltrow, Holly.
My
Today-
favourite kind of week.
It's also
Mia.
a big week for you, clearly, because today her unofficial biography is released. I've pre-ordered it. I assume you have too.
I already have a copy
I
on
have
my
not.
phone.
I don't need to read that.
She has also been parachuted into the biggest pop culture gossip story of the year so far. The couple who were caught cheating at a Coldplay concert. We spoke about this last Monday. Quick recap. The CEO and the chief people officer of a tech company called Astronomer, who were both married to other people, were caught cuddling on a kiss cam at a Coldplay concert, and the footage went viral way back 10 days ago on July 16th, 12 days ago actually.
Oh, what a time.
Resulting in the CEO resigning. Now, in a genius move, yesterday, Astronomer released a video of their own on their social accounts. It starred Gwyneth, the ex-wife of Coldplay frontman Chris Martin, who was the one whose voice the world heard in the original Kiss Cam video, just to join the dots. Here's a little bit of the video that Astronomer released yesterday with Gwyneth.
Thank you for your interest in Astronomer. Hi, I'm Gwyneth Paltrow. I've been hired on a very temporary basis to speak on behalf of the 300 plus employees at Astronomer. Yes, Astronomer is the best place to run Apache Airflow, unifying the experience of running data, ML, and AI pipelines at scale. Yes, there is still room available at our Beyond Analytics event in September. Thank you for your interest in Astronomer.
How is everyone doing? Is your social media team
Person okay? Yeah.
WTF, question mark,
And
question
she
mark.
doesn't answer that. She just gives like
So
corporate
good.
spin,
And
which
it's
is
her
hilarious.
sitting at a desk. It's so – well, I wanted to ask you both what you thought of it.
Genius. I've always told you that Gwyneth would be funny as hell if you had dinner with her. And indeed, I think she showed that side of herself here. What I'm fascinated by, because this isn't the first of this kind of immediate crisis PR. Do you remember? And this didn't age well very quickly. After And Just Like That first came out the first season and Mr. Big died on the Peloton.
Yes.
And almost immediately,
Yes.
Peloton jumped on that with Chris Noth to do an ad because everyone was saying, well, this isn't very good PR for Peloton and blah, blah, blah. They jumped on it. Unfortunately, they had to pull that quite quickly because Chris Noth suddenly became the target of some very unsavory allegations. But it's an example of when everything looks like it's going to shit for your company, do you ignore it and keep paddling in the other direction or do you jump on it? How quickly would Gwyneth have had to make this decision about whether or not she wanted to be part of it though?
Yeah, she wouldn't have had much time. And it's all about harnessing the attention. Because I was hearing, because let's not forget either that it was about the Kiss Cam, but then it became about Astronomer. Like it became about how they had a very male board and the shit started to kind of splash back on them. So for them, it is irreverent, it is bold, it is dry, it is so funny. And did you know that it was Ryan Reynolds' ad agency that made it?
There always is.
Yeah.
But he also made the Chris Noth one,
Yes.
the Peloton one.
Did he?
Yeah.
They jump very
Yeah.
fast, those guys. They understand virality.
The only way to counter an internet narrative is with another internet narrative in the internet vocabulary. So, they did put out a statement that was very straightforward to protect the employee who had been accused of being in that video who wasn't, another person who worked in HR. So they did put out a straight statement. And then everyone started going, Astronomer, what's Astronomer? I've never heard of Astronomer before. And so the idea of getting Gwyneth was absolutely genius.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
Do you think that they asked Chris Martin first? Like, do you think they went straight to Gwyneth?
Oh, that's such a great question. I think
what
they
I
did.
wondered too.
I think they went to
did.
Chris because it is a little bit of an unusual leap in that Gwyneth is the ex-wife.
Actually, no.
It's a better
couldn't
idea
have.
though, because Gwyneth is much more interesting.
They couldn't have, because they had to go to Gwyneth because they had to, like, she's in the guise of working for them, right, being a spokesperson. So Chris Martin couldn't have done it because he was part of the original. And if by this conceit he'd been working for Astronomer, he would have recognised. So they actually went to, I'm trying to think who else they could have been. They could have just chosen a really, really famous person.
How about Dakota? I mean, I know there's a lot of question marks about her.
That's
Dakota could have been
genius.
funny.
But it could
Dakota
have been
Johnson's his
anyone.
girlfriend.
It could have been anyone in a way. But Gwyneth is very convincing because also Gwyneth does do these kind of things, whereas
Yeah.
Chris Martin does not.
I don't know about Dakota Johnson. So Gwyneth, very happy day for her biographer, Amy Odell, who immediately made a video about how comparatively she's been paid between 6 and 7 figures for endorsement deals, nothing like this, obviously, but she appeared at the Red Sea International Film Festival in Saudi Arabia in 2023 and got $1.6 million for that. $250,000 for attending a launch party. Skims and Swarovski Crystals did some collab again in 2023.
That's how much you'd like to get paid to go to an event.
And I'd need to get
Minimum.
to leave my house. About $1.25 million for a contract that she had with Swarovski, which was just to, wear their jewelry. So I reckon she would have been paid $5 million for this.
You reckon? No.
I reckon between 2 and 5. And I think it had to, because they had to move so fast, it had to be a one offer, one and done, too good. It had to be so good she couldn't have refused.
You're right. And also for her to even pick up the phone.
Correct.
Like, I mean, figuratively
and
pick up
Ryan
the
Reynolds
phone.
would have called her. So I think that's the other secret. If it's just this person gets involved, it needs to be someone who can cut through all of that, agents, managers, who can literally just text and go, hey, what do you think?
I think
And it would have had to happen very, very quickly.
she would have obviously been paid a premium because this is dangerous in that we don't know if tomorrow there's going to be a story come out about widespread sexual harassment at Astronomer. Like it's a bold move to kind of be the temporary spokesperson.
It is.
For something that you don't have time to research, and you're kind of doing their PR for them.
But if that does happen, would you think badly of Gwyneth Paltrow? No, because it's clearly a joke. She's not really their spokesperson. She's just making a funny video.
And also she's not particularly precious about attracting internet criticism. She attracts it all the time by breathing.
It's almost like an SNL sketch.
It is.
It is.
I heard some commentary last week about whether or not this whole scandal was good or bad for Astronomer because, as you said, Jessie, it sort of spotlighted some issues within their diversity in their management team. But Scott Galloway was saying he thought this incident was terrible for the reputations, obviously, of the two people involved, and that, as you said last week, Mia, their lives would pretty much be ruined and it will follow them forever. But for Astronomer, it was good because who'd ever heard of Astronomer, and now suddenly everyone does. But I have a question. Even after watching this ad, do either of you understand what Astronomer is?
No, but we're not meant to. The people who are meant to know what Astronomer is, which they're a data analytics company, do know.
And they understood all the things that Gwyneth is talking
exactly.
about. Okay, in my other very important Gwyneth news, do not think that I did not break my thumb clicking on a recent AMA with Gwyneth on Goop. So in this Ask Me Anything, someone had asked, what is Brad's favourite thing about you? Brad Falchuk being her husband, not Brad Pitt, etc. We'll get over that one other day. She said, I'd love to text him. And they said, you can do that. So she, allegedly in the moment on the video, she texts him and he sends back his reply and she reads it out live. And here is a part of it.
Doesn't he have a day job?
He's a very busy
His
man.
day job is loving her, Jessie.
Brad's favorite thing about you.
I wish I could text him to get the answer. I want to text him. I honestly don't have a favorite, he said. I truly love every aspect of you. Your physical beauty, the way your body moves through space, your love of dirty jokes and well-plastered walls, how much you know about art, that you feel so comfortable naked and hate fake people, when you're needy, when you're angry on the road. I love when you chug water by the bedside at night. I love the skin on the back of your knees and the arch of your feet, and when you smile at me in bed after you've put in your retainers.
Oh my God.
Please don't. Please don't keep
Oh
going,
my
Brad.
I think I'm doing love wrong. I don't know if I'll ever be loved like that.
The skin on the back of your knees?
I don't have a nice arch.
Okay.
I don't have a high arch.
Okay. Have I internalized my misogyny that I'm just like, how can you brag about yourself like that? Like, I know she's reading what he said, but firstly, I would be like, that's private between him and I. Like, that's some very intimate shit, right? And then also, how can you say that out loud? He loves my physical beauty.
I love it.
And how often I succeed at things.
I love it.
I'd actually also love it. And I mean, she was just reading his words. I think that my shock is that he replied. Like, if I sent that, Luke would be like,
tell they haven't been married long.
Is this a trap? Like, what have I done? And then he would say, I don't give compliments on demand. And then he would say, should we get that spanakopita from Aldi? And that would be the whole conversation.
Exactly. The thing that's interesting to your point, Mia, is this is one of the reasons why I have my love-hate obsession with Gwyneth, is you're right, we're not supposed to tell people how excellent we are.
No.
But that's what I like about it. Is it's like,
Yeah.
on the other hand, there's a sort of movement of, you know, on one end there's the princess treatment stuff, but also it's the, well, why not? Why should I constantly have to pretend I'm unlovable, I'm rubbish, I'm terrible, I don't know what he sees in me? Why should we have to carry on like that? I'm not as hot as the girl next door, blah, 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 blah.
Well, you're Gwyneth Paltrow,
She's
you are.
Gwyneth. Like,
It's just so intimate though. Like, I don't know. I have this thing about all of us leaking intimacy through the internet, right? And through social media. And at a time when most people are pulling back, most people I know, to sort of read something, like, it's, make no mistake, that's beautiful. It's like a love sonnet what he wrote. But then to say it, to make it into content, I don't know.
I love it.
I love it too.
Okay.
The skin on the back of my knees has never had more
I'm
attention.
going to check mine.
I'm going to exfoliate tonight.
Does Gwyneth have a product for that? Because
I
I
also
feel as though
think
it needs
you
attention.
can
God, she
really
probably
date
does.
their relationship, because don't you think that all the things that you most love about someone near the start of a relationship become the things
That you hate
shit
about
you the
them.
most?
Yeah.
Like, for example, the way I do drink water.
Yes.
And-
It shits us.
Yeah, exactly.
Mia
I-
guzzles.
I love that it's like my morning routine. I've read Gwyneth's morning routine. He does not love that. It takes half an hour. He's like, can we just go to the gym, babe? And she's like, I'm oil pulling.
But he finds everything about her so adorable. I think maybe I'm just jealous.
I think so. He's the thing about liking her when she's aggro on the road. Like, that's not a particularly likable quality at all.
It is when Gwyneth does it.
Yeah.
Harry Styles is selling a double-sided vibrator and some fancy lube to go with it, but by the time you work out where to put it, too bad, it's sold out. Did you know about this?
You're disappointed by Gwyneth. I woke up a little bit disappointed by Harry today.
Why? Is that because of your puritanical values?
No, that's you. I am a stan of Harry Styles. And most mornings when I wake up, after I've checked what Gwyneth is doing, after I've checked what Meghan is up to, I check to see if Harry has dropped a new album, because it has been forever.
Too long.
Harry's House was several years ago now. It was a massive album. It was amazing. And we went to the show, blah, blah, blah.
I got COVID at that concert.
No, it's definitely Harry's fault. What's he been doing since? Well, we have an answer. He's been creating a sex toy.
He's distracted. And I, for one, think he's got to focus back on the music. There, I said it.
Do you say that about Rihanna?
No, you're right. But then tell me more about the sex toy, because I have some questions about why a sex toy?
Okay, well, I don't think he's been like spending all his time in factories looking
Really?
at prototypes, to be
testing
fair.
it.
Building
No.
models, testing them out.
He created, back in 2021, before he even released that album, he created like a brand called Pleasing, which creates unisex products. You might remember this. They've done nail polish and skincare and clothing, and now they've gone into sexual wellness. So it's like a bit of a storefront, and they've got different things. You know, there's a hoodie, and it's collabs with other brands. So he's not like manufacturing these things mostly from scratch.
Right.
So a lot of his clothing is a collab with a fashion designer called J.W. Anderson, who's very well known, and this one is with a vibrator company, a collaborator called Zoe Ligon. So she's like a she has a brand of sex toys and he's done a collab, right?
Okay. Permissive.
So what's interesting is that this vibrator, when I first heard that it was double-sided,
I have questions.
I had questions too. I was a bit like,
are you meant to use it with a partner at the same time, in which case I have logistics questions? And if it's double-sided, well, maybe it's just depending on your mood, what you put in there.
I think Harry wants to keep your options
right.
open.
It looks really nice.
Okay,
Like it looks
I know
quite
immediately
beautiful.
what that is.
Yes. So the double-sided
looks like a microphone.
is that it does a bit. One end is designed for internal or insertable use.
Yep.
And the other is for external stimulation. So you can either use it with a friend or alone. So that's the double-sided thing.
Yes.
Got it. I
thought that you needed two people to use it, and I had some questions about holes.
I read this tweet because there's been a lot said about how, how every celebrity has or had a beauty brand, whether that's makeup and then it's really moved into skincare and it's this booming industry.
It's been unbelievably lucrative for a small number of female celebrities.
Hailey Bieber just sold something for $1 billion.
$1 billion.
Billions.
Rode, her company,
Rode. Yeah. So there's this now infamous tweet that reads, everyone is beautiful and no one is horny. Like the idea is that everyone got so into the products and so into making themselves beautiful, but were we having any sex? Because we know that Gen Z, like all the data about how much sex they're having is going down. But what that has never accounted for is like self-pleasure, which they think is on the rise. And in Australia, apparently we are a few years behind. In North America and even in the UK, they're less conservative. I'm always surprised in the global market how they talk about Australia as quite a conservative country.
Really?
Yeah. When it comes to like sex toys and stuff, we are Jessie about it.
That's so interesting.
Really?
Yeah. Whereas in the US, there's been this full-on embrace, which has been because of online marketing mostly, in that people are happy to buy a sex toy if they don't have to go into a shop and look someone in the eye.
That's what the explosion of sex toys is all about.
Yeah.
Is online shopping.
And
right?
the second thing is that the success of sex toys has been about its association with a famous person, because the taboo and the shame around it has been kind of undone. Even in an Australian context, Abby Chatfield talked on No Filter about buying a house with her sex toy money.
Yeah.
Remember?
There was a time when you could not scroll through Instagram without having every influencer waving their vibrator at you.
Yeah. And it's clearly because, and I did some research on this, this is projected. Like if you were going to invest in something, apparently like in the next 5 years, sex toys are going to, it's the new skincare. Like it's going to
Okay, so
explode.
after our rosé, guys, we're launching a vibrator.
Double-sided.
Mamamia Out Loud. I have questions.
Don't think I'm kidding.
I know.
You know how my brain works.
It'll play our podcast while it's working.
Oh, there could be.
To the sound waves.
Oh, my God, there
That's
could
so
be
nice.
nothing less sexy. Mike, back to Harry for a sec, right? So when I read the headlines, I assumed I was going to see Harry like waving the sex toy around. No, he's been much too savvy for that. He's very distanced from the marketing in lots of ways. He appears sort of in the first ad we've seen, but not his face, just his body. And because one of the things that I questioned about whether or not this was a good move for Harry, because you're so right, Jessie, female celebrities, everyone has to have a side hustle now. They can change your life. And male celebrities are a little bit on the back foot in that, well, I guess this is his hot sauce, right? This is his hot sauce, his salad dressing, his mayonnaise.
Yeah, Brooklyn
His hair
Beckham,
care.
of course, has his hot sauce.
But it opens the door for people to be able to ask him about his sex life endlessly, right?
No,
Which he
I
didn't
don't
like
think
that
so.
before. He's always been very, very private about what's actually
I
going
think
on in
so.
Harry's bedroom.
Do you really?
Because
I didn't read it that way. That's so interesting.
Everyone who releases a sex toy of like, firstly, you proclaim yourself as sort of sex positive in some way, and as open to talking about pleasure and orgasms and all that kind of
Which
stuff.
has been part of his brand and very much part of the whole, watermelon sugar era was all about sex and queer sex and gender ambiguous sex. And so that's part of his brand, but I'm kind of interested that he wants to keep it that way. Do you know what I mean?
Is this the first man we can think of who's launched a female sex toy? Because we've got Gwyneth, we've got Cara Delevingne, Dakota Johnson, Lily Allen. They've all moved into the sexual wellness market. In Australia, we've got female examples, but I can't think of any men who
Would
have done it.
you want a Harry vibrator?
I think it all
fantasize
depends.
about him anyway. It's just like joining those dots.
There he is. I think It all depends. And this celebrity endorsement thing is interesting because even in the beauty context, the product being good is what sells the product, right? And they get access to work with really, really, and it sounds like he's done it really well in terms of working with people who know what they're talking about. So
I don't know if I've had a bad
product.
orgasm though, like really. In terms of the bar's pretty low for a good vibrator, isn't it?
Met orgasms. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you'd want to make sure the one with your name on it was clearing that bar.
It's a bit of a moot point because it's around $100 if you could buy one. But when I went on the website to research, it said no products available.
Not
Megan's
yet.
jam all over again.
Not
no,
yet.
I think it's sold out.
No. But they're thinking that eventually it will be available for Australians, just not yet.
Oh, okay.
A new app called T has given way to a thorny, very uncomfortable debate about dating, privacy, and gender dynamics. So this T app launched in 2022, 2023, around then, but it has since boomed. It is the number one app on the App Store in the US for this month. It's not yet in Australia, and we'll go into why it might not work in Australia so much. But here's what it does. It is a women-only anonymous app where users review, warn about, or share stories and photos of men that they have dated or that they plan to meet up with. So, for example, if I have matched with someone on a dating app and I want to know whether it's worth going on a date, I might go onto this, search his name. I can reverse search an image. So that might catch someone who changes their name. And I will get reviews, which might be red flags, green flags. It's linked to things like criminal records, to all that kind of stuff. And it'll give you like a background check.
So it's like Yelp, but for men.
But for men, exactly. The creator, Sean Cook, was inspired by his mother's negative experiences with online dating and catfishing. And basically he thought what the world needs is the largest group chat about dating. It's similar to that Facebook group, Are We Dating the Same Guy, that went viral.
Which does exist in Australia.
Yes.
Certainly did.
It's the modern day equivalent to Whisper networks. So what's the problem? Well, a few things. The first is that there is an identity verification process for the female users, right? That just this weekend was hacked. So in order to go on, I think you've got to have your ID, a photo, and then you're able to use the app.
When you say use, do you mean you're able to post on it or you're just able to see it?
Both.
Okay.
In order to even get onto the app, right? Now, thousands of members, images, posts, and comments were exposed. And if you think about the context of domestic violence or potentially having been with an abuser, and that person then has access to things you may have said about them, like privileged information, like that's really quite highly dangerous. The other really significant issue is, as James Grieg put it, it's digital vigilantism, the TikTok equivalent of a citizen's arrest. It's one thing if you're a legitimate scammer or criminal, and that is a portion, but do you deserve to be publicly shamed or have your reputation impacted because you ghosted someone once? There's a big question here about privacy. So a 1-star review on the app speaks.
And you also have no right of reply.
No, because you can't even get on there. And you can't screenshot on the app. So if I saw something about a friend, I can't even screenshot it and send it to them. There's a 1-star review on the app where someone is talking about a friend saying he decided not to pursue things romantically with a woman. That woman posted on the app. And as a result of that review, he'd been turned down on a bunch of dates. It's really impacted his mental health, and now he avoids dating altogether.
Oh, wow.
So
it's like the Scarlet Letter. Like it's like public shaming.
Yeah. What do we think? What do we think of an app like this? Do you think that it has utility? I think probably in the Australian context, there's a big question about defamation, right? Like it feels dangerous and dangerous for the women posting, because if you say something about someone that could be seen as defamatory, then that starts to get a bit dangerous. But and the US has very different laws to us. Holly, what do you reckon?
I think it's great. I think that women exchanging information like this is really important. It's one of the few things that can protect them. The biggest enemy of this is how famous it's become all of a sudden. Because, you know, you're saying, well, the security was breached. That's going to happen, right? Like that's going to happen with all kinds of apps. I don't think that means it shouldn't exist because its security was breached. I think the problem is the more well-known it is, because the fact it's popular proves that the use case is real, that women needed it, wanted it, and use it, right? And so that's one thing. But then now if it scales up and more people get to know about it, then people who have other motives for getting into it are going to try and get into it.
When you say the fact that people wanted it proves the use case for it, I'm not saying there's no use case for it, but just because people want something doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good thing or that it's legitimate. So in response to, there are all these sort of Reddit threads and men's rights groups saying that the T app needs to be deleted and taken down. In response, another app was launched called T-Born, where it says get the T on anyone, check before you date. So you could basically leave gossip about anybody, male or female. And the T-Born app was taken out of the App Store by Apple because users were posting revenge porn of women against women. Because how would we feel if this was reversed? So suddenly you can have an app and only men are allowed to comment on it, and it's about women. And suddenly men can go, she was a slut. She was this, she was that. Are we cool about that too?
Or shared intimate
she
details.
She was a psycho.
The point
she stalked me. She cheated on me.
Is that this information is going to be exchanged anyway. Do you know what I mean? You can't stop people from saying what they say about people. But this is actually very useful in lots of situations.
I don't think that this information
I don't think it would have
necessarily
anyway.
been shared. So, for example, there's a tool that's a phone number lookup, and it helps verify if someone has a hidden marriage or a concerning history with that phone number. So you could go in and go, is this guy already married? And look, maybe he is. And that
happens. What I mean when I say the use case is just talk to some women who are using dating apps regularly, and they are often getting calls from people going, I think you're dating my boy. Like, this is real. It's not an imagined situation. And the thing is that one thing that, I mean, as you say, Jessie, it's complicated whether or not it could be here, but women cannot use public platforms like Facebook, and you can argue that absolutely they should not be able to claim that they were abused by somebody, because they will get slapped by defamation. And there are lots of cases of that where a woman in Australia tried to warn the new partner of a man who was abusing her, and he immediately sued her. And that happens, like it happens a lot. So if we're saying, I'm not saying that this is perfect, I'm not saying it isn't open to abuse, but what I am saying is I can see the appeal, I can see why women want to use it, and I can see why it's legitimate in lots of ways.
There was a woman called Moira Donegan who she made this Google spreadsheet called Shitty Media Men, which circulated like wildfire, as you can imagine. You could anonymously list any man and then his transgressions. And these ranged from allegations of rape to just was a bit creepy. Yeah, felt a bit creepy, or stood me up for dinner or whatever. And so that ended up being part of a huge legal case when some of those men said, firstly, what was written about me was not true and it was never proven in court, and these were allegations that were very serious and life-ruining, and some men did have their lives ruined, and they had no recourse. And what happened in the process of that is that every woman, not just who added something to that list, but every woman who received that list and saw it was named and exposed as part of this lawsuit. What I keep coming back to, and I feel so uncomfortable about this, even though I do know what you're saying in terms of someone who's got, around DV or around if they're married, but that's sort of maybe the 10%. The 90% is other stuff that's around not being a good person, or, that's more subjective. I keep thinking about when public commentary was disconnected from identity, that's when things started to devolve in the online world.
So you're talking about the anonymity.
Yeah, it's the anonymity. As soon as people were able to post anonymous comments, whether it's on an Instagram or Facebook or anywhere on the internet, when you decouple identity from accusations and commentary, that's where things can go really, really bad.
Yeah.
And I also understand that sometimes you're not in a position to put your name to things. Of course
not. You'd never put your name to it.
However, it also is like, what if someone wrote something about your son or your husband or your friend or your brother and they had no recourse, they don't know who did it, they say it wasn't true. This was perhaps this person's either subjective view or it's someone who was just really pissed off and wanted to wreck him. I find that incredibly disturbing.
So on the one hand, I think that this is probably filling a hole that has been left by a very imperfect legal system that leaves women with no path to justice a lot of the time.
No, because that's the thing is that when people say, but none of this stuff has been proven, it's like, do you know how difficult it is for any woman to get herself believed, never mind all the way through a legal process? So what are they supposed to do with this information that they have? That women exchanging information has always been incredibly important for women to protect themselves.
So if you are the victim of sexual assault, which we know like 1 in 3 women are, if you are the victim of a scammer, like we have all these like Who the Hell is Hamish and Dirty John and all these stories about men who have changed names and identities and you know, robbed women of so much of their life savings, you kind of go, well, if it can prevent that, then I see it as something useful. And I think that this exists and is popular because of an otherwise very big gap, which is that women go and whether it's restraining orders or whatever, they're then often not listened to and the legal system is too difficult to navigate.
But how is it not also at the same time character assassination? Like I understand people going on thinking, oh, I'm not sure about this guy, or maybe you want to check, has he got any DV convictions? Is he married? I understand all of that before a date. But how many people, what I would do is go and just find the tea. Like, what do other women say about this guy?
But then it's up to you what you do with that tea. So when you said, you know, there's a world of difference between ghosting and abuse, of course there is. So if I go on and I check him and it just says he ghosted me once, the way that my mind would work, and we all know many, many women in our lives who do this, is I go, well, he ghosted you because he wasn't that into you. He'll totally be into me. You know what I mean? Like it's not mandatory. Do you know what I mean? Like I think that if you're opting in to search for somebody who's given you a reason to feel a bit uncomfortable or uneasy with them, or you've had really bad experiences and you find something, then it's kind of up to you what you do with that and also how seriously you take it.
I think there is a question though about collateral damage and false reporting of crimes like these where women make an allegation of sexual assault or domestic violence against a man is really, percentage-wise, is very, very rare. When you've got the element of anonymity in there, and if you hate your boss, if you hate your ex-boyfriend, and there is something you can do to make their life harder, you wouldn't go on there and say they ghosted you, right? You would say the absolute top thing, which then dilutes the legitimacy of the real accusations. And so I guess I worry about that, because if I went on and I was about to go on a date and it said it was one review and one red flag and it said he was someone who physically assaulted someone, I would not go on a date with that man. And so that man has been marked.
And I don't think a lot of people would be going there to write positive reviews. So, you know, what we always say about don't read the comments is that the people who leave comments about anything are most likely to be on the extremes, and usually the more angry and pissed off you are, the more likely you are to leave a comment. So you can get a very skewed view of it, either a situation or a story or a person.
But then the vast majority of men wouldn't be on it. Do you know what I mean? Like the guy, you search for Bob, Bob's not there because Bob's not done anything to piss anyone off. Like, it's fine.
Can you see a world in which
Can I see a world in which it's abused? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do I think that just because some things can be abused by bad actors that they shouldn't exist? No. Out Louders, that's all we've got time for, except we promised you our top 5s and the reasons why for our favourite Australian songs of all time. We all forgot to vote in the Triple J Hottest 100. So consider this our late ballot.
Yeah.
Who wants to lead?
Jessie, you go first.
Okay. I'm going to go Chains by Tina Arena because I feel she was robbed.
I'm so glad you say that because I just forgot about that song.
Forgot. That's okay.
Is that number 5?
That's my number 5, yes.
Okay, good.
Number 4, I'm going to go with Holding On by Flume, which did make I really like Flume. I like Flume a lot.
was in there a couple of times.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
I just think it's such a good party song, and it's such I love when I'm overseas and I hear Aussie music, and I just have been traveling and heard that song. It makes me so happy. Number 3, I'm going to go Truly Madly Deeply by Savage Garden.
Not enough Savage Garden in the top 100.
Not high enough. I love Savage Garden. I just love them. Number 2, Torn by Natalie Imbruglia.
Oh, yes.
It's just That is on like my list of
It's a
favourite songs
banger.
ever. It's such a banger.
Yeah.
That film clip, her haircut.
Yeah.
It was a moment.
Number 1, Better Be Home Soon by Crowded House.
Oh,
I think it's one of the best
yes.
songs ever. That's
Wow. We've got a
top
lot of
5.
common ground
Oh my God,
there.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
what's
think
your-
I do too. I think our top 5s are going to be quite similar.
Okay, Mia, what's your top 5?
Okay. I did have 6
Oh, okay.
and I had Natalie Imbruglia torn, but I wanted to tie it with Chains. I know I sound like I'm just copying you. That's because I am.
Okay. All right, cool.
My next song is an INXS song, and it is not that one. It is either Disappear or New Sensation.
Oh,
I couldn't choose.
No, don't
No,
agree.
no, no,
Wrong
no.
about that.
Number 4, either
But
Don't
need that
Dream
tonight.
It's Over.
If there's going to be
What?
an INXS song in there, shouldn't it be da, 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 la, 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 la. Shouldn't it be that one?
Dun, dun,
You know, I
dun.
need you
Yeah.
tonight. That
Oh,
was
yeah,
the
that's
peak
another one.
sexy Michael
Okay.
Hutchins moment.
Okay,
just-
what's your?
I just like all of them.
Why do you get? Okay, if you get an
Just-
extra, I get an extra,
yeah.
and
Okay,
it's just
wait.
Rufus.
Don't Dream It's Over, Crowded House, but also Better Be Home Soon.
Better Be Home
Crowded
Soon is a
House.
better
So
song than Don't
I
She's
Dream.
not
would
really
like a
sticking
medley.
to this top 5,
No.
is she?
My order's a little bit fucked up, but then I'm going to say, Am I Ever Going to See Your Face Again by the Angels?
Oh,
And I
really?
thought
It was
about
in
what
there.
you said, Hull, about that is my youth. You know, so many of these are the pub songs that I didn't go to pubs, but that I danced to at parties. Then I'm going to say Midnight Oil, The Power and the Passion.
Oh,
Wow.
yes.
Okay.
Midnight Oil, I mean, come on.
You're right.
Beds Are Burning is also great, but
So what's
Power
your
and the
number
Passion I love.
1?
Guys,
Come
I can't
on.
believe this is even a contest. You're the Voice by John
Oh,
Farnham.
no.
Yeah, I agree. I love that song. I
Oh
love
my
that song.
God.
No.
That song, that man.
It was in the top
Iconic.
15, I think. It was number 12
I think
or
it
something.
was.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you, Holly? 5?
I have reasons for all of mine. Number 5, like you guys, is Torn by Natalie Imbruglia
Yes,
because
thank you.
karaoke and
Yeah.
it's my favourite karaoke song.
Also,
Well, one of them.
Haircut.
Yes. The moment in time when she did that, I
Yeah.
thought she was the most beautiful woman I'd ever
Yeah.
seen. And
Yeah.
you know how you get obsessed with that.
Yeah.
Number 4 is slightly newer. It's Booster Seat by Spacey Jane. It was in the top 10 or 15, but the reason why
How does that
is
go?
because in my booster seat, whoa, and it feels like that. Anyway, the reason why.
Don't know that one.
Me and my daughter sing it in the car. We have sung it in the car together for years now. So I know that even when I'm on my deathbed, if I hear that song, it will touch me.
That makes me feel really happy because yesterday Luna made me play police sirens in the car. So one day we may
One
listen
day
to real
you'll
music
listen
together.
to Spacey Jane. Number 3, it's a Missy Higgins, but not one of the ones that made it in The Sound of White. That song.
Holly, you're so
that's
right.
so
Don't-
true.
I'll cry. I'll cry.
Yeah, exactly. The
Yeah.
reason it's in my list is because every single time I hear it, no matter how many times I've heard
Yeah.
it, it makes me cry.
Yep.
It's
Agree.
about losing
Such a
someone.
good call.
I
Agree.
cry my eyes out. Number 2, how was this song not in the Hot 100? Chandelier by Sia.
I know. I agree.
That is one of my favourite bangers of all time.
I love that song.
Throw your arms around me, hunters and collectors.
Yes.
I wonder if that made it.
But that is Chandelier is one of my pump up songs. And number 1, and it was in the top 10, is How to Make Gravy by Paul Kelly because it for me it's Christmas, it's family, it's our song. So I think your songs are always going to be
Yeah.
emotionally connected to something, and those are mine.
I'd like to say that I would have pretty much all 5 Missy Higgins, but I felt like she did get acknowledged with Scar. And also just a late entrance, I think Horses by Daryl.
Oh,
That was on there too.
Horses.
Horses.
That would have been Amelia Lester's top song. That was her wedding song.
Really?
Yep.
it?
Horses.
Did all the
Horses.
Americans look really confused?
Yes, they were. They were confused. That is
That is such a
iconic,
good
that
song.
song.